This is the Louie Tee Network.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie Tee? Welcome here on Lockdown Coverage. Wall-to-wall coverage of the National Football League here with your man Louie Tee. Week 2 action, Pittsburgh Steelers at home hosting the Cincinnati Bengals in a little bit of tough, nasty, rugged, and rough AFC North family business. If these two teams say they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. But if they did, well, that's family business. We knew this was going to be physical and nasty and maybe a little sloppy, but the weather conditions really contributed to this game being extremely sloppy. We'll get to the breakdown here in a second, but first, if this is your first time on this channel, welcome. Subscribe to the channel Louie Tee Network for more great content here and into the future in the 2016 NFL season, as I will break down all all games this season here on Lockdown Coverage. Also on Twitter, at In the Lab Room is the Twitter handle. Also on Facebook, so go ahead and give me a like. And I'm on Twitter, Facebook as well. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up and a like there as well. So let's jump into this. And I like to do this: likes, dislikes, and banana in the tailpipe. And we'll get to any banana in the tailpipes a little later on in the breakdown. But let's get into the likes for this game. First half likes for both teams, and then we'll move over to the dislike side of things in the first half, and then we'll go to the second half, likes, dislikes again, and you get the picture here. So let's start with the Cincinnati Bengals. I like to start with the road team always, and so we'll start with the Bengals. Likes for them in the first half of this game. Response to the Steelers touchdown. Steelers go down, get a touchdown, and it was a sloppy football game, as I just mentioned. They went down the field and responded quickly to that touchdown. Now, would have loved to have seen them get in the end zone there instead of settling for a field goal. And really, that was the story of the day for them. The inability to get into the end zone until late in the ball game is what really hurt the Cincinnati Bengals in this game. But I did like the response there. Steelers get a touchdown. Andy Dalton, bing, bang, boom. They're just like that. They're in the red zone with an opportunity to match that touchdown. Ultimately didn't do that. But again, like the response from Cincinnati on that particular drive. Good D after a poor punt. There were a number of bad decisions in that little mix there. The biggest problem, though, was the punt by Kevin Huber that saw the Steelers get great field position. There were some things there that put you in that bad bind. Erickson catching the punt. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But look, for all of the situations and circumstances that the Cincinnati Bengals found themselves in, they were able to kind of navigate their way through them in this ball game. After that poor punt that gave the Steelers great field position, the Cincinnati Bengals defense was able to stand tall and force a field goal attempt. They could have easily given up a touchdown there. Great field position by the by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Cincinnati able to stop them from getting a bunch of first downs. And it was a tough field goal. It wasn't the easiest of field goals. They were able to force the Steelers to have to kick a long field goal after the poor punt by Huber to give the Steelers great field position. Drake Kirkpatrick with an interception of Ben Roethlisberger. Could have had another. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But nice play on the football. Was able to pick Ben off. Ben was erratic a little bit in this game. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. And it was good to see Drake Kirkpatrick locate the football. And then on a sloppy day where the football is going to be wet, come down with the football. Good end of the first half drive for the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, did not result in a touchdown. Would have loved to have seen it result in a touchdown. Great play by Artie Burns. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But nonetheless, way to get into field goal range. Give yourself a chance to put more points up on the scoreboard, and also give yourself a chance to close that deficit at the halftime break. Really thought that was an impressive drive by Cincinnati in those elements. And Tyler Boyd is on my likes list in the first half. He did make a huge blunder at the end of this game. We'll talk about that when we get there. But again, you're going to need contributions from Tyler Boyd throughout this season, because I think the depth at receiver is limited for this Cincinnati Bengals football team. So you're going to need guys like Tyler Boyd to step up. We talked about that before the season started. Good to see him starting to really get acclimated to the speed of the game, what the Cincinnati Bengals coaching staff is asking him to do, and him going out and making some plays. Again, not the easiest conditions to go out and make plays in. I thought Boyd did a really good job of catching the football, getting up the field, and doing some good things for the Bengals in this offense, in this football game. Let's go to the lights for the Steelers in the first half. Sammy Coates on the big deep ball. Anytime you get a big ball down the field, get a chunk play in this league, it's huge. Flips field position, gives you a better chance to score. All of the above puts you in a position better to score. And we know Sammy Coates can do a number of things. Probably at the top of that list, run really, really fast. He did that in this game on a number of occasions. 2 catches, 97 yards tells you all you need to know. There were some big catches in there, 2 to be exact. 1 came in the first half, setting up the Steelers with an opportunity to get on the scoreboard. Xavier Grimble touchdown. Who the hell is Xavier Grimble and where did he come from? Great catch, okay? Just the fact that he caught the football with his hands away from his frame in inclement weather already endears me to him that quickly. He's already better than Darius Hayward-Bay in my book. Now, Darius Hayward-Bay plays special teams, blocks like nobody's business, but don't throw him the football, and I'll talk about that in a second. But Grimble with a great catch away from his frame. I told you Ben was not the sharpest on this day. Snatches it out of the air, then has the presence of mind to stretch the football over the goal line for a touchdown. Great play. Another one of these guys the Steelers just pulled out of nowhere. A lot of people didn't know who Eli Rogers was. A guy that was on the practice squad last year, stepped up, made some plays. Grimble, a guy that was snatched off someone else's practice squad, is a guy that could come in and make some plays. Again, Steelers need all the help they can get at receiver with the injuries and the suspensions. This is another guy that stepped up in this game, made a big play early in the ball game, got the Steelers on the board 7-0. Great play by Artie Burns to limit the Cincinnati Bengals to a field goal right before the half. There was a receiver open in the corner of the end zone. Dalton located him. Maybe he could have put the football a little bit further up the field towards that back pylon. But in any event, a lesser corner, a guy not paying attention, doesn't do anything about that pass, and it's a touchdown. Instead, Burns is able to extend, knock the football away, and force Cincinnati to have to kick a field goal. Huge play by Artie Burns, the rookie, out of the U to make a play to make the Cincinnati Bengals have to settle for 3 instead of getting 7. Those types of plays, they're not huge in terms of the consciousness of most fans, but those are huge plays in ball games. If that's a 7 instead of a 3, totally different ball game in Pittsburgh. So huge play by Artie Burns. Let's get to the dislikes for the first half. The weather. Okay, this is either team. Really, this is just an overall dislike. The weather was nasty in this game. It was raining profusively. Early on, it stopped, basically. Then second half, it picked up yet again. The weather was a mess, and it made for a sloppy football game. Dalton missing Tyler Kroft on the first third down of the game, and some of that could be attributed to the weather. Maybe Kroft could have caught that football, but it was well behind him. He's running one way. Football was behind him. Had to totally contort and turn his body to try to catch it. He would have had a first down had Dalton put that on him and allowed him to run after the catch. So you saw the elements working in this game against both teams as Dalton missed on that third down. Didn't like that at all. Bad fielding of punt by Alex Erickson, your rookie, that allowed you to cut Brandon Tate. This guy might be dangerous. I've seen some good things from him. I also saw him catch the football as a slot guy, so I think he's going to add some value to this football team. But that being said, you don't field the football inside the 5-yard line. You don't fair catch a football at the 5. You just don't. The rule is you put your heels on the 10. If it goes anywhere near over your head and you're at the 10, you let it go. And if they down it, good job by them. But you don't fair catch the football at the 5. It was his fair catch, subsequent 3-and-out forced by the Steelers, and then Huber's bad punt that allowed the Steelers to get another field goal on the scoreboard. Cannot have those types of mistakes on the road in conditions like this. Every field goal matters, and that field goal really was generated off of a poor decision by Erickson and the subsequent 3-and-out and bad punt by Huber. Let's go to the Steelers and their dislikes for the first half. Missed fourth down conversion. Brown was wide open, and Ben just flat out missed him. I told you he was a little erratic in this game. Threw it right to Pac-Man, who got the interception. The cornerback formerly known as Pac-Man, Adam Jones, with the interception on that play. Ben threw it right to him, and Brown was open by about 2 steps over the middle. And if he catches that, I don't know if there's any help. He might outrun Adam Jones in a foot race to the end zone. Who knows? We'll see. But in any event, bad throw by Ben. The cornerback formerly known as Pac-Man, Adam Jones, making him pay. Probably would have been better off allowing that football to be incomplete because He gave up about 20, 25 yards of field position by catching that interception, but nonetheless, Steelers weren't able to pick up that fourth down on a bad throw by Ben. Stop throwing DHB the football. That's my next dislike. On a third down situation, they try to set up a Darius Hayward-Bay with a pass where they're setting up basically a wide receiver screen. And Ben throws it up high. You can't throw this football away from his frame. He doesn't have good enough hands, especially in conditions like this. You're asking for the football to be dropped. He gets hit, but the football was well dropped before the hit came. Stop throwing DHB the football, okay? Especially downfield. If you want to throw it to him, or like later on in the game, they throw him a hitch, and he catches it, secures it, then gets up the field, gets 7. You want to do that? Knock yourself out. Stop throwing DHB the football in traffic and expecting him to come down with it. His hands are made of stone. Stop throwing him the football. Next dislike for the first half, L.A.B with the drop on third down, wide open. And I thought that was the football gods righting a wrong, because on that same play, Jesse James got away with a hold on that play and literally tackled, I want to believe it was Dunlap on the play, who was getting pressure on Ben. And he just tackled him, and the officials did not throw the flag. And if you're not going to throw the flag, then AB's not allowed to catch that football. So it was a little bit of poetic justice. Football gods just basically righting a wrong before something could go wrong. They said, look, you're going to let him get away with that, then I have to make him drop the football. Go ahead, put that down on the turf for me, if you will, Antonio, and that he did. So didn't like that. But again, officials not throwing the flag there meant that there needed to be some intervention by the football gods. They stepped in, forced an incompletion on a play where Antonio Brown, once again, wide open, a lot of space and opportunity after the catch, simply took his eyes off the football, looking to make a play after the catch before securing the actual catch. Let's go to the second half and the likes in this game for Cincinnati. I like the pressure that they consistently got on Ben Roethlisberger in this game. They were in his face. And I talked about the inaccuracies of Ben Roethlisberger. Well, a lot of that stemmed from the pressure that Cincinnati was putting on him. They didn't actually get him down on the turf a bunch in this game, but the pressure, the collapsing of the pocket, Ben being uncomfortable back there did really result in a lot of those incompletions and errant throws that you saw from Ben Roethlisberger on this day. I thought the Bengals did a really good job of pressuring him on this day. And Giovanni Bernard continues to be a threat out of the backfield. 9 catches, over 100 yards, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in this game. He was a factor, especially late when they needed to dump it down. Steelers playing soft zone coverage and giving up everything underneath. He was huge and instrumental in making this a ball game late. So, again, Giovanni Bernard is a guy that I think they need to get the football to more. And before the end of the game situation where the Steelers were playing soft zone coverage, I didn't think he had touched the football nearly enough in this game, to be honest with you. So they need to get him more involved in this offense. He is a dynamic football player with the ball in his hands, as we saw at the end of this game, with a simple check down turning into a touchdown with him outrunning basically the Steelers' entire defense. Let's go to the Steelers' second half likes. DeAngelo Williams, what more can we say? What more can I say about the ageless wonder that is DeAngelo Williams? Last week, a big, hefty workload, 26 carries, 143 yards, or 45 or so for DeAngelo Williams. Turns around and another heavy workload, another 32 carries for him in this ball game, and about another 5 or 6, maybe even 7 grabs in this game. What more can we say about him other than he is so good? And at his age, the patience that he shows is ridiculous. There were runs where you're like, okay, there's nothing here. Patient. Then something develops. Then he hits it. I just thought he was phenomenal. Had a touchdown grab in this game as well. Can't say enough about what he has meant to this team since coming on board last year. He might be the best backup running back in the league right now, and he's shown it throughout these first 2 games of the season. Sammy Coates was dynamic in this game, and that's what they need him to do. They need the big play because they're missing that with Big Ten Martavis Bryant gone for the season. They need someone to stretch the field, and that guy's going to be Sammy Coates with his ability to run. Good to see him catch the football, 2 big balls, one leading directly to a touchdown, and I'm not sure the other might have done the same. So, again, if he can continue to do this, they're going to be a tough team to stop from an offensive standpoint because of Antonio Brown's ability to work all levels of the field. And now you add in a threat like Sammy Coates, Jesse James emerging as a dangerous target. A lot of people were asking questions about what the Steelers were going to do with the tight end position, especially if their free agent acquisition, Ladarius Green, wasn't ready to play. Well, you found your answer in Jesse James, a guy that caught a touchdown in this game and has been instrumental in the Steelers' success on third downs early in this season. So really like him, and he was actually next on my likes list was Jesse James, so I pretty much said everything that I was going to echo anyhow, is that this guy has stepped in, and Heath Miller's presence has been missed, no doubt about it, especially in the run game, but Jesse James has, I thought, blocked effectively when called upon to do so in the first 2 weeks, but he's also caught the football, and I think that's where the biggest impact has been felt from Jesse James. Loves what he's bringing to the table right now for the Steelers football team. Ryan Shazier, to me, I told you this before, I'll continue to say this over and over again. When healthy, he is the best linebacker, inside linebacker in this league in terms of young linebackers. Of course, you've got your Luke Kuechly's of the world who are just out of this world, but if you're talking young linebackers, the combination of power, speed, ability to cover, all of the things that you're looking for in this new age of the National Football League, Ryan Shazier has it in one tightly wound package. Again, when he's healthy, he's one of the best in the league, and to me, the best young linebacker in this league for sure. Everyone's looking for their Ryan Shazier. They just don't make them like that every day. However, not most linebackers are running 4.3 40s with the ability to hit the way that he does and play with the level of physicality that he does and still be able to make plays on the football in passing coverage. As we saw in week 1 versus the Redskins, Ryan Shazier has the entire package going for him at the linebacker position. And fourth quarter drive. There was a drive at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Steelers ate up literally half of the quarter, were able to put more points on the scoreboard. Thought it was a huge drive for them, and I think it only resulted in a field goal, but it was still huge because of the amount of time it ate up. It really shortened this game and really gave the Steelers the best opportunity to win. And so when you can do those types of things in games like this with conditions like this, you're really heightening and giving you the best chance to win. And I thought the Steelers did that with that fourth quarter drive, eating up clock, gaining first downs, keeping the football on the ground, keeping the clock moving, and Cincinnati not really able to get off the field in some critical third down situations, allowing the Steelers to put more points up on the scoreboard and, more importantly, eat up a great deal of the fourth quarter clock. Dislikes from the second half, we go back to Cincinnati. That CJ Uzomah catch, and I wrote this in my notes, wasn't that a knee? I said that from the moment I saw it. When they called it incomplete, I said, okay, show me that replay. They showed me the replay, and I said, Marvin normally doesn't go for that. Marvin is quick to challenge, so I was expecting a quick trigger here. And I think it was because of the fact that it was, I want to say a second down maybe, might have been a third down. But because it was a situation where they had more downs to spare, I don't think he felt the need to challenge because he knew it was going to be a tight ball game late. He was probably going to need his timeouts. He didn't want to risk it, but that was worth challenging. And I thought that CJ Uzomah got his knee down in the back of that end zone. And I thought that was, in fact, a touchdown grab, but that was just me. Missed opportunities by the Cincinnati Bengals defense. Drake Kirkpatrick dropped an interception. If I'm not mistaken, later on, the Steelers did punt, but they pinned Cincinnati inside their own 10-yard line. He picks that off. They're out somewhere around the 20-yard line, so missed opportunity there. And then a huge miss by George Iloka underneath. Roethlisberger never sees him, has a chance to pick it off, goes right through his hands. They later on go on to score a touchdown with the big Sammy Coates catch down the field, and they ultimately get in the end zone after that. So some missed opportunities by Cincinnati on the defensive side of the football, I thought, cost them in this ball game as well. And the Tyler Boyd fumble, of course, late in this game. We saw a fumble help them lose the last time these two teams met in the playoffs. A late fumble yet again does the Cincinnati Bengals, and they had all the momentum at that point in the game. Steelers were reeling, and Boyd puts the football on the carpet. I actually thought that he was down on the play, but don't ever put your team nor the officials in a position to dictate the outcome of the game. He did that by putting it on the carpet. Young fella had a strong day. Actually had him on my likes list earlier on in the game, but can't put the football down on the carpet. Can't put the church's money down on the floor. He did both, and it resulted in the Steelers coming away with the victory. Steelers dislikes in the second half. Big Ben's accuracy, I talked about it, he was off today. And you could blame some of that on the wet ball, field conditions. You could blame some of that on the pressure that Cincinnati applied, but he was just off. And you can make all the excuses you want, but He missed some throws that he normally hits, and he was off this game. And it gave Cincinnati an opportunity to steal this football game because his inaccuracies put his team in a little bit of a quandary in this football game. Artie Burns with a pass interference that really helped Cincinnati extend the drive, ultimately get in the end zone, gave them an opportunity to stay alive in this ball game. Look, with the rookies, they giveth, they taketh away. You saw it with Tyler Boyd on the Cincinnati side. You saw it with Artie Burns on the Pittsburgh Steelers side. This is just what you're going to get from rookies. They're going to have some plays. They're going to have some boo-boos. And you got both from both in this game. And that's what you're going to get out of rookies most times. They're going to make some plays. They're also going to make some mistakes. All in all, Steelers come away with the W, 24-16. Go to 2-0 in the season. Drop Cincinnati to 1-1. Saw this coming. The field conditions really helps Pittsburgh in this game, and I thought Cincinnati went about it the wrong way. Thought the Steelers did it the right way. Run the football in this kind of weather with these kind of conditions. Run the football. Andy Dalton threw it over 50 times in this game. No excuses. No reason for him to be throwing the football that many times in this kind of game. I would have loved to have seen them take the air out of the football, do some things to run the football, to loosen up their Steelers defense a little bit more. This was a hard-hitting affair. And if you didn't come with your hard hat and your lunch pail, which you should have expected from these two teams, but if you didn't come with your hard hat and your lunch pail, you weren't getting the job done today. These two teams were out hitting each other. It was a fun game to watch, but at the end of the day, the Steelers prevailed 24-16 to go to 2-0 on the season. The banana in the tailpipe for me with Cincinnati, I need more balance. I don't think this is who they want to be moving forward. Andy Dalton throwing it over 50 times in this game. Only 11 carries for Jeremy Hill. I don't think that Giovanni Bernard had double-digit carries. So you're talking about probably less than 20 carries on the afternoon in a wet, rain-soaked day. To have that many passes in a game that wasn't that out of control. I mean, late Giovanni Bernard's touchdown made it a one-score game. To throw it, to have that big of a discrepancy, I'm not on board with that, and I don't think that's what we're going to get from this football team moving forward. I think it was just a little bit of an anomaly in this football game. And for the Steelers, Antonio Brown's not going to drop many passes, as we saw an opportunity. And Ben's not going to be off the way that he was today. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe on either one of those. Those guys are as good as it gets at their respective positions in this league, and so I'm not going to expect them to have some off days moving forward. Not many days where Antonio Brown's not going to be the leading receiver in the box score. Sammy Coates took that honor with 2 catches for 97 yards. But like I said, they gave the football to their running backs, and the Cincinnati Bengals didn't. D'Angelo Williams, 32 carries in this ball game. That's how you get it done on a nasty, rainy, just ugly day for football. That's how you find a way to get it done right there. So that's going to do it for Steelers and Bengals. Thank you for joining me here on Lockdown Coverage. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League. You know I got way more football to cover today. A lot of good action. I'll come back, join you a little bit later on, break down some more games. I'll see you a little bit later on. This has been Lockdown Coverage with your man Louie T. We're changing the game, one live feed at a time. See you next time.